Experience divine relaxation, 7 days to manifest supernatural peace. Sacred healing through sleep. In the quaint village of Stonemere, where the air thickens with the aroma of lavender and the laughter of children echoes against cobblestone streets, Sarah Morgan embarked on a sacred journey that would change everything. Every Sunday, she filled the chapel pews, her heart aligned with faith while profound shadows lingered over her life, obliging her to seek divine intervention for her ailing husband. Each doctor's visit delivered more grim news, choking the hope that once ran like a river through their lives. As harvest celebrations painted the village with vibrant colors and communal joy, Sarah wrestled with a heavy heart. One quiet evening, the leaves twirled in the crisp autumn breeze, and the family gathered to pray to St. Jude, the intercessor for desperate cases. As they bowed their heads, silence enveloped them, and Sarah felt an overwhelming wave of divine peace flow through her. In the depths of that stillness, she received a vivid vision. A radiant light enveloped Thomas, his strength renewed as he laughed once more. This divine encounter ignited hope within her soul, urging her into a week of prayer, sleep and contemplation. Suspended in the balance between faith and despair, Sarah gathered at the chapel each night, her voice strong yet humble, sharing her revelations with the townsfolk. Spiritual leaders led meditative prayers, the air thickening with sacred energy, causing hearts to tremble with extraordinary faith. As she opened her worn Bible, light seemed to glisten off the pages, illuminating passages of extraordinary healings. The strength of her belief began to ripple through the congregation, though whispers of skepticism in the village marred the joy. "What shall we now believe?" echoed across the pews as doubt softened the fiery light of her heart. "But my friends," she would say, her earnest eyes shimmering with fervor, "I feel it. The divine is moving. We must never cease to hope." Yet, even as she spoke, the fear of Thomas's crumbling health weighed heavily, darkening the corners of her faith like storm clouds gathering on the horizon. On the 7th night, as the church bell tolled somberly, they received fresh anguish. Thomas's condition had taken a harrowing turn for the worse. Fear loitered like a fog, filling their home with despair. Just then, warmth enveloped their home as neighbors sensed the turmoil and gathered to form an unwavering circle of prayer outside. With hands clasped in unity, they invoked St. Jude's intercession, their collective voices rising, each whisper merging into a torrent of hope that surged through the cool night air. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As prayers crescendoed into the night, the atmosphere shimmered with palpable energy. Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the weight of anguish lift slightly, consumed by the warmth of her community. Questions gnawed at her heart. Would her husband find healing? Would her vision come to life? Cooling darkness enveloped her, but with a glow of hope lighting her soul, she slipped into a deep and wondrous slumber, where darkness and light mingled. And just when hope teetered on the brink, a surge of divine energy enveloped her, a moment shimmering with promise, the key to their salvation perhaps waiting to be revealed. The night held its breath, and as the dawn approached, the fate of their dreams remained unwritten. In the soft dawn light, Sarah awoke, her heart pulsing with an electric energy that felt both foreign and familiar. Last night had been a pivotal moment, a bridge between her palpable despair and the undeniable flicker of hope ignited within her spirit during prayer. Sitting up, she felt an unexplainable calm wash over her. Even the crisp autumn air seemed to hum with promise. As she stretched, a flicker of light danced near her window, drawing her attention. It was as if the very essence of her prayer had shifted and sat upon the sill, whispering secrets known only to the divine. Gathering her breath, Sarah rose, grateful for another day to journey deeper into faith. Outside, the village was awakening. Laughter rolled through the streets, and voices melded together like a sweet melody. The townsfolk had gathered at the marketplace to share stories of harvest and gratitude, unaware of the turmoil still looming in the Morgans' home. But Sarah knew, she could no longer keep her unease hidden. It was time to share her revelations with those who walked alongside her in prayer, to transform the whispers of doubt into shouts of faith. Stepping outside, she was embraced by the fresh morning air. Walking towards the chapel, her heart beat in rhythm with the murmurings of the community. She paused outside the familiar threshold, allowing the warmth of her village to infuse her with courage. "Gather round, dear friends," she called, her voice ringing with newfound conviction. In these moments that weigh heavy on our hearts, we must lean into faith more than ever. God is moving. Curious faces turned toward her, uncertainty mingling with the warmth of the autumn sun. As she spoke, the passion igniting her words fanned the flames of hope within their hearts. She recounted her visions from the night, words spilling forth like the colorful leaves swirling around her feet. There is a power in our prayers. A promise waiting to be fulfilled. I felt it so deeply when we prayed together. Her fervor was contagious. The village snapped out of its daze, and one by one, they nodded, sparks of belief igniting in their eyes. It felt as if the very earth beneath them throbbed in support. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the energy around her shift. The heavens witnessed her faith. Then, a ripple of silence cascaded through the crowd, interrupting her thoughts. "But what if it's too late?" a voice murmured. It was Helen, a dear friend. Disposable doubt tinted the air momentarily, but Sarah stood undeterred. "My friends, when have we ever been defined by too late? Our God is the relentless God of second chances. When we gather in love, He pours out His grace. Our prayers will break through even the heaviest veils." Hope began to surge again, and they formed a circle, hands joined, voices lifted. Classically, they spoke not merely for Thomas, but for every unhealed wound, every unfulfilled hope. Laughter eventually laced their prayers, intertwining with their supplication. A sudden gust of wind swept through the circle, as if the very breath of God had kissed them. It quickened Sarah's heartbeat, nudging her spirit forward. She knew their prayers transcended the moments of doubt, they took flight into the infinite. Amidst this connection, a gentle thought brushed against her heart. What if healing was already happening? As they finished their prayers, Sarah felt a stirring within her, a confidence she hadn't known before. That very moment could be monumental. Or a simple step along the sacred path. She would soon discover the depth of God's plans. With anticipation brewing in her chest, Sarah faced her friends once more. "Let us head home. I believe we shall witness something extraordinary." And with that declaration, they moved as one, a reminder of their strength, faith aflame, hearts alive with the promise of the extraordinary. What awaited them on the path home would change everything, for divine interventions often hide just beyond the next bend of faith. And as they stepped forward, Sarah felt the air shift again, a celestial current wrapping around her, hinting at the miracles yet to unfold in her life. What lay ahead? The answer remained woven in the exquisite fabric of hope. As Sarah and her friends made their way home, a gentle stir of wind chased after them, as if the universe itself was participating in their collective journey towards healing. The laughter and chatter flowed seamlessly, intertwining with a deep sense of purpose. Each step echoed with the unshakable faith that something wondrous awaited them. Suddenly, a familiar figure wandered close to their path. It was Mr. Henderson, the wise elder of the village, with his silver hair glinting in the sunlight. He sensed the change in the atmosphere, noting the hopeful glow radiating from Sarah and her companions. Without hesitation, he approached them with a smile that seemed to brighten the day even more. "Good morning, young ones. What news has brought such light to your faces?" he asked, his voice warm and inviting. With energy bubbling within her, Sarah recounted the morning's gathering, her words spilling forth with enthusiasm. She shared how their prayers had become a chorus of hope, each voice a harmonious note. Mr. Henderson listened intently, nodding along as she spoke, his eyes shining with understanding. "You see, Sarah," he began after she finished, "when our hearts gather in faith, the Spirit moves amongst us. Every prayer, every ounce of belief we share, creates pathways to the miraculous. Just the mere act of believing of uniting can stir the waters of healing. The group exchanged glances, as this perspective took root. The elder's words resonated deeply, awakening a shared understanding that they were not alone in their trials. Let this be a reminder, sometimes, blessings come in quiet forms, he went on, his voice lowering as if imparting a sacred secret. Don't be afraid to look beyond what you can see, my dear friends. Encouraged, Sarah looked at the faces surrounding her, each marked by their struggles, yet also shimmering with newfound resolve. There was a profound unity in their shared burden, that they were walking this road together brought an inexplicable comfort. As they neared Sarah's home, something caught her eye. A beautiful bird perched on a nearby branch, its vibrant feathers shimmering in the sunlight. It tilted its head and sang a sweet melody, a song full of joy that echoed the sentiments blooming within her heart. Look! Sarah exclaimed, pointing. Even creation rejoices with us. God's presence is everywhere. The group paused, taking in the simple yet profound beauty of the moment. It felt as if the bird was a messenger, affirming their faith and reminding them to celebrate every small sign of hope. And then, as they transitioned past the familiar gate of her garden, Sarah turned to her friends with a deep sense of purpose rising within her. Shall we share a meal together? Let us break bread and recount the wonders we've seen in our lives. For in sharing, we fortify our hope. They nodded enthusiastically, and as they settled in around the table, laughter, stories, and prayers woven between bites filled the space. With each shared experience, there was an unseen transformation occurring, a sacred reassessment of their collective faith, but as they feasted, a gentle darkness crept in, a sudden chill against a heart filled with warmth. Nameless worries flickered in the corners of their minds, doubts that even the evening's joy could not completely dispel. But Sarah held on tight, a beacon of light amidst the shadows. What if the darkness held lessons they had yet to unveil? What if, within their collective struggles, even deeper miracles awaited? It was then that Sarah sensed the air shift around them once more, as though the very atmosphere vibrated with anticipation for what was yet to come. She looked around the table, questions bubbling up in her heart, whispers of unknown possibilities. What awaited them on the other side of their fears? As they gathered closer, a feeling of electrifying unity wrapped them in love, but little did they know, the very fabric of the evening prepared them for a divine encounter that would test the bounds of their faith. As they shared their meal, the table filled with warmth and joy, yet shadows danced at the edges of their minds. Sarah, ever attuned to the feelings of her friends, caught sight of their faces. They wore smiles, but their eyes hinted at unrest, like dark clouds peering behind a clear sky. Let's pray, Sarah suggested, her voice gentle yet firm. Let us invite the light into our hearts, especially the corners where fear lurks quietly. Her friends bowed their heads, and as Sarah closed her eyes, she felt a rush of peace envelop her. They prayed, their words rising like incense, and with each petition, the worries began to untangle. The act of surrender became a balm. She could feel the presence of the Spirit among them, filling the room with warmth. Lord, grant us the courage to face our fears. Show us where we can be a light to one another. Sarah spoke compassionately, her voice barely above a whisper. Each amen floated softly, a soothing echo of hope. As they finished, the lights in the room flickered briefly, and a jolt of energy surged through Sarah like a gentle wave. She opened her eyes to see her friends exchanging puzzled glances, both startled and intrigued. Had that been a sign? The question lingered in the air, weaving in and out of their hearts. Did anyone else feel that? James asked, frowning slightly. It was like something just shifted. Sarah nodded, her heart racing. Maybe something is trying to tell us that we're at a crossroads. Perhaps it's time to explore that gentler whisper of spirit. Mr. Henderson, who had quietly observed, leaned in, his voice carrying a weighty wisdom. You young ones have a matchless spirit. But understand this, the Spirit often speaks in moments of stillness, in whispers that come layered with patience. What you felt could be a beckoning, he said, his eyes twinkling, encouraged by his words, a shared determination ignited within the group. What if this evening was more than just another meal? Could they truly grasp whatever divine revelation was attempting to emerge? Sarah's heart swelled with resolve. Let us not shy away from this. We must seek the message hidden within. Every moment of discomfort could lead us to a discovery of truth. As they shared stories of faith, laughter melded with contemplation. Each reflection brought to light experiences of doubt, anguish, and sudden grace. They began recounting times they had witnessed miracles, large and small. In the quiet of their shared vulnerability, an understanding unfolded. Struggle could lead to growth, connectedness, and powerful revelations. Outside, the night deepened, and the stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across velvet. A soft breeze danced through the window, inviting the cool night air into their space, as if the universe was urging them onward. But just then, a sudden knock on the door interrupted their moment. It was unexpected and jarring, resonating like a bell tolling after twilight. Who could that be at this hour? Hannah wondered, her brow furrowing. Sarah felt a flutter in her spirit, a curious anticipation bubbling up. Was this the divine encounter they had sensed earlier? Her heart drummed louder, and she exchanged looks with her friends. Shall we see? She asked, her voice mingled with excitement and trepidation. As the door swung open, a figure stood silhouetted in the nighttime glow, carrying an aura of mystery and promise. Little did they know, this encounter would illuminate the path before them, leading them to revelations that would unveil deep-rooted fears and unshackle hidden hopes. What awaited them on the other side of that door? As the door creaked open, a gentle light spilled forth, spilling into the dimly lit room. The figure stepped inside, revealing a woman, her presence luminous and inviting. She wore a flowing garment, a soft azure that seemed to shimmer as she moved, and her long hair framed a face that radiated tranquility. "Good evening," she said, her voice a melodic whisper that seemed to wrap around them, soothing their frayed nerves. "I hope I am not intruding." Sarah, still caught in the moment, shook her head, offering a warm smile. "Not at all. We were just discussing something important." "Indeed," Mr. Henderson chimed in, his eyes twinkling again. "It seems you've come at just the right moment." The mysterious woman stepped further into the room, and as she did, there was an almost palpable shift in the atmosphere. It felt as if the very air around them shimmered with divine possibility. "My name is Ilara," she introduced herself, her gaze penetrating yet deeply comforting. "I travel where I am needed, to those in search of light and hope." The room grew silent, each heart attuned to the gentle yet powerful energy emanating from her. Sarah felt a stirring within her spirit, a sense of kindred connection. "What brings you here?" Hannah finally asked, her voice a mixture of curiosity and awe. Ilara regarded them with a knowing smile, and her eyes sparkled like the stars outside. "You seek answers, do you not? You are at a crossroads, a point of decision that will shape not just your paths but the lives of those around you." "Crossroads?" James echoed, glancing at Sarah as if he felt the weight of her words too. "Yes," Ilara replied, her voice almost a whisper. "Life's journey is filled with choices. But fear often shrouds our vision. I come to help illuminate your hearts with courage." With that, she extended her hand, and in it rested a small crystal, glimmering with an inner light. "This is a gift," she said softly. "It represents clarity and wisdom. As you hold it, it may reveal what you need to confront and embrace." Sarah reached out cautiously, the crystal warm beneath her fingers. Instantly, a wave of calm washed over her. As she clasped it, visions and reflections began to stir within her, a tapestry woven from their prayers, conversations, and the apprehensions that had filled the room just moments earlier. "I can feel it," Sarah breathed, her soul awakening to deeper truths. "The fear, the uncertainty, it feels like threads waiting to be untangled." "Yes," Ilara affirmed, her voice resonant with understanding. "You must face the shadows that linger and bring them into the light. There lies your freedom and purpose." The group exchanged glances, sensing that this was not mere coincidence. Perhaps Ilara was indeed the answer they sought, a messenger sent to guide them through the door of understanding. A sudden cool breeze swept through the room, rustling papers and sending a shiver down their spines. Elara turned slightly as if listening, her eyes gleaming with insight. Change is approaching. Be ready to embrace it. The whisper of the spirit is growing stronger. Just as she spoke, an echo from outside seemed to linger, an unearthly sound that harmonized with her words. The energy shifted again, and a flicker of light danced in the corner of the room. The friends looked at each other, fear mixing with wonder. What was unfolding? What transformation awaited them through Elara's guidance? As Elara stepped closer, a sudden realization pierced through the haze. Sometimes, we must walk through the darkness to truly appreciate the light. Are you ready to take that step? The question hung heavily in the air, filled with promise and fear, making each heart race in anticipation. What awaited them if they decided to follow her light? They had come seeking answers, but the journey ahead promised so much more. Little did they know, the path forward would lead them to revelations that would test their faith and ultimately, shape their very destinies. What would they discover as they ventured further into the mystery? Elara watched them with a hopeful gaze, sensing the mixture of trepidation and eagerness within each heart. She understood, fear can bond or fracture friendships, yet there lay a divine invitation beckoning them to trust. What if we fail? James asked, voice barely above a whisper, eyes flickering with concern. What if we tumble deeper into shadows? Elara stepped closer, her aura enveloping them like a warm embrace. Failure is but a stepping stone toward growth, she reassured him. A necessary part of the journey. Each stumble is a lesson, each setback holds a whisper of your destiny. The essence of faith is found in believing, even when the path is obscured. Eager to cling to her words, Sarah spoke up, but how will we know which path to take? So many choices stand before us. Ah, Elara replied, a playful smile dancing on her lips. The heart knows what the eyes cannot see. Trust in those whispers within you. The crystal will illuminate the truths you need to face. With a nod, Elara indicated to hold the crystal tightly. As Sarah gripped it, a warmth radiated throughout the room, bathing each person in a golden glow. Let us seek clarity together, Elara suggested. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and open your hearts. Let go of the fear. Release the burdens. As they followed her guidance, a profound peace descended upon them. The noise of the outside world faded away, replaced by a gentle hum like a choir of angels welcoming them into sacred serenity. With every breath, Sarah felt lightness within her chest. In her mind's eye, visions of tangled threads began to unravel. She saw faces of those she loved, each thread representing a struggle shared or a moment cherished. Breathlessly, she whispered, "It's beautiful, I can see it. I can feel the connections clearer." James gasped beside her, "I see it too. It's all intertwined like a web of souls." Elara's smile deepened, encouraging them to share their discoveries. Hannah, whose voice trembled with emotion, added, "I realize my fear isn't my own alone. It belongs to all of us. If we face it together, it weakens." Suddenly, an unseen force swept through, lifting the tension that had clung to them like a heavy mantle. They sensed a divine exchange, a sacred promise binding their spirits in that moment. "Remember," Elara spoke softly, "unity in the struggle creates strength. Embrace vulnerability. It's a gift from the Spirit, transforming darkness into light." Tears brimmed in Sarah's eyes as she spoke. Can we truly be free? Can fear really transform into understanding? Elara's gaze pierced through layers of uncertainty, her response radiant with divine wisdom. "Yes, dearest ones. Freedom comes when you embrace your truths and lean on one another for support. Each small step leads to courage, drawing you closer to the light." Habits of doubt began to shatter like glass around them. With every breath, they felt lighter. The heaviness of fear was lifted, giving way to an inexplicable joy. As they emerged from this moment, the flicker of light in the corner returned, stronger now, illuminating the room in a brilliance that felt tangibly divine. Do not take this lightly, Elara cautioned gently. What you have felt is merely the beginning, the heart of your journey awaits. The path to true transformation requires commitment and openness. Are you prepared to nurture the seeds of doubt still hidden in your hearts? A sense of urgency filled the air, each soul thirsty for the next step in the unfolding mystery. They watched Elara, hope sparkling in the depths of their eyes as they gathered the courage to confront the unknown. The door had been opened, yet now lay ahead the choice to step through. What awaited them on the other side? Would they dare to embrace all that was yet to be revealed? Elara's eyes shimmered with excitement as they stood on the precipice of discovery. Yet the air was thick with anticipation, each heart thundering with unsaid fears and hopes. They sensed that they were about to embark on a voyage deeper than any earthly journey. What's next? James asked, his voice trembling with a mix of eagerness and uncertainty. How do we begin this transformation? Elara stepped back, arms wide open, as if inviting them all into a cosmic hug. To embrace the light, you must first acknowledge the shadows. Close your eyes again and listen closely to your heart, she instructed. As they shut their eyes, the world around them fell away. They were surrounded by an ethereal hush, a silence that felt sacred. With every heartbeat, they could feel the currents of love swirling around them. It was as if they were held in a tender embrace from the universe itself. Now, breathe in deeply, feel that breath fill you up, from your toes to your crown, Elara guided. Let it anchor you in this moment. As you exhale, envision the fears leaving your body, dissolving like mist under the morning sun. Sarah felt the warmth surging within her. Each breath, each thought transformed into a simple prayer. She envisioned the fears floating away, tiny clouds dissolving into the azure sky. I see it, I feel lighter, she whispered, holding on to the idea of freedom. Hannah joined her, her voice now steady and vibrant. What if this freedom is less about conquering fear and more about accepting it? What if we consider our fears as messengers? Yes. Elara exclaimed, her eyes sparkling brightly. Fears can teach us precious lessons about ourselves. They are not adversaries but guides. Each one holds a story waiting to be understood. James, deep in thought, opened his eyes slightly. So, we welcome them. We listen. Absolutely. Approach your fears with curiosity rather than judgment. In accepting them, you create space for other feelings: love, compassion, healing. Like a gardener tending to his plants, nurturing them will allow you to bloom, Elara explained, a tone of encouragement coloring her voice. The energy shifted, and it felt like the room had expanded, filling with possibilities. They were no longer just a group of friends, they were a cohesive unit, a circle of divine beings intertwined in mission and purpose. Let us visualize together, Elara proposed. Picture not only the fears, but also a radiant light within. See its warmth spreading, enveloping each of you. Allow it to harmonize the threads of your beings. In that instant, the crystal shimmered vibrantly, reflecting colors that danced across the walls. It became a focal point, bridging their energies, spilling peace into their shared space. Each spirit lit up with expectation, the thought of healing resonating like a distant melody drawing them closer. We don't carry these burdens alone, Sarah mused, her voice imbued with revelation. There's a collective strength here. Indeed, Elara affirmed, nodding gravely. In vulnerability, you will find support. Each tear shed is an invitation for comfort and joy. Embrace this gift. Stirred by hope, they glanced at one another, eyes sparkling with newfound realization. It was more profound than they had imagined. They were ready to not only embrace the unknown but to dance in the flame of spiritual growth. Now, as you prepare to step through the door ahead, remind yourselves, what awaits is a transformative gift. Trust this process of release and restoration, for it might lead you to the depths of your own hearts. Elara's words lingered in the air, both enchanting and challenging. What treasures of the spirit awaited them in the uncharted territories beyond? Would they dare to release the very last shadow that kept them from their truest selves? With the soft glow of the crystal illuminating their faces, a hush fell over the group. They were poised at the threshold of a sacred journey, each heart beating in rhythm with the gentle tide of hope and anticipation. Ilara's voice resonated through the stillness, pulling them deeper into their collective consciousness. "Now, my friends, take your first step," she urged, "not just forward in this space, but inward, into the chambers of your soul." The moment was electric. Each person felt a tug at their spirit, as if the universe itself was encouraging them to dive deep into the waters of their own heart. Tentatively, they opened their eyes, gazing at the hues of light that danced around them. "What if we don't know where to start?" murmured James, his brow etched with uncertainty. "So often, the beginning is simply acknowledging where you are," Ilara replied gently. "Ask yourself, what weighs on your heart? What shadows linger in your thoughts? Let them surface." Sarah hesitated, then breathed deeply, the air swirling with familiarity. She whispered, "I fear that I'm not enough, that my journey is not significant." Her voice cracked slightly, but she pushed through, feeling the release lift her soul. Hannah nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes. "I feel that too. There's a voice in my mind that tells me to stay small, to not shine too brightly." "Perfect," Ilara encouraged, her expression warm and inviting. "You've taken the first step. Together, let us send love to those fears. Imagine them transforming, becoming lighter, until they dissipate like smoke on the wind." They each visualized their burdens, the darkness slowly curling into radiant light. It felt surreal to witness their fears lift, revealing a sacred truth hidden beneath an inner light longing to shine through. As they connected more deeply with their emotions, the atmosphere shifted once again. The crystal pulsed with a newfound intensity, casting reflections that felt like smiles from above. Each person's spirit began intertwining with another, a beautiful tapestry woven from shared pain and burgeoning hope. A newfound intimacy gripped them. They were not alone in their experiences, the raw emotions they shared knitted them closer together. "This is what community feels like," Hannah whispered, her voice a melody wrapped around their hearts. "Yes," Ilara affirmed, joy radiating from her. "Look around you. You are strong together. Embrace this connection, for it is also a divine gift. Together, we are stronger than the shadows that try to hold us back." Tears flowed freely now, a blend of joy and release. James squeezed Sarah's hand, and she met his gaze with a smile that spoke volumes. Their fears seemed disproportionately small compared to the love circulating among them. As Ilara led them in a moment of silent prayer, the gentle energy enveloped them, washing over their souls like warm sunlight breaking through clouds. A powerful stillness settled, causing each member to feel an inexplicable peace wash over them. "Trust this light you've cultivated," Ilara finally instructed when prayer waned. "As you venture forward, hold on to the space created here. You will face challenges, but remember, shadows cannot exist without light." She paused, allowing her words to sink deeper into their hearts. "What if, in your next steps, you could become more than you think? What if this journey leads you to touch the divine?" The group leaned forward, breathless with curiosity and faith. What awaited them beyond this sacred moment? Would they rise to embrace their true calling? As they stood together, a flicker of uncertainty sparked within them again, twisting through the reassuring light enveloping the circle. What magnificent gifts did the universe hold for those brave enough to seek them out? A soft sigh escaped Ilara's lips as she observed the connected faces around her. The vibrant energy of their shared burdens and dreams felt like a divine wind, nudging them towards uncharted possibilities. She understood the weight of their uncertainty. Each heart was ripe with yearning, yet threaded with doubt. "Let us move," she instructed gently, a sparkle alighting in her eyes. "We've lit a flame, and now it's time to let it guide us into the unknown." With an excited murmur, they stepped softly towards the crystal, drawn as if by an unseen hand. Each step echoed deeply in the sacred air. As they drew closer, the crystal flickered brightly, images of their hopes forming within its core, swirling like the galaxies they had dreamed of exploring. "Close your eyes once more," Ilara urged, her voice tender like a mother's. Let the light of the crystal wrap around you. Feel it embrace your essence, filling every crevice of your being with warmth and love. They obeyed. Breaths synchronized, hearts began to race with anticipation. As if they were riding a wave of whispering angels, they envisioned allowing this divine light to cleanse them, filling every shadowed corner with radiant love. Suddenly, a voice pierced the silence, cutting through the stillness like clear water. I feel something, like a pull deep inside me, said Sarah, her tone awash with wonder. What is this? That, Elara smiled, her heart swelling with joy for Sarah's awakening, is your spirit opening up. It's the divine spark within you reaching for more. A hush enveloped them. Each person delved into that sacred space within, recognizing their individual and collective yearning for restoration. Love was surging, sweeping away fears, but this time, the illumination revealed something deeper, a call to action, a beckoning from their inner selves. James broke the silence, his voice steady. We have faced so much anguish. Can we really transform it? Elara nodded fiercely. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. In your transformation, you invite others to join you on their journeys. As the luminous light pulsed around them, energized by James' question, another sensation washed over the group. An overwhelming vibration of hope intertwined with desperation. They understood, they weren't just lighting their own paths, they lit the way for many. Embody this truth, beckoned Elara, hands raised. Open yourselves to the divine healing offered to all who seek. What we uncover in the depths of our spirits can heal not just us, but a world yearning for peace. The crystal responded in waves of color and sound, cascading through the air like tangible blessings. Each person felt its embrace, enveloping them in the chorus of their desire. Hannah felt a spark igniting to life inside her, a new kind of courage that made her stand taller. Imagine the waves of love radiating from this place, Elara continued, her eyes shining like stars. This is just the beginning, my friends. The more we share, the greater our ripple effects are felt across time and space. Through this whispered call, their spirits soared higher. Together they stood, hearts beating with newfound understanding. They were not just a group, they formed a web of hope, threaded with love and divine potential. As their eyes opened to the reality around them, a deeper sense of purpose filled the room. They could feel divine energy swirling like a magnificent dance, coaxing them all forward. But then, a hush fell again, as a solitary thought emerged. Could they truly release their past and embrace a future that held such promise? Elara's voice broke the spell. The moment of transformation is upon us. Will you answer the call? Together they pondered this sacred invitation, hearts racing with the thrill of possibility. What awaited them in their courageous steps? What healing could they uncover on this journey together? As dawn broke over Stonemere, the crisp air vibrated with anticipation. Sarah, clutching the luminous crystal gifted to her by Elara, felt the warmth of divine energy pulsating through her. Her heart was a vessel of hope, filled to the brim with faith that seemed to swirl around her like a gentle breeze. Guided by Elara's presence, the group stood poised on the brink of transformation, ready to embrace the unknown that awaited them. Remember, Elara reminded them, her soothing voice like a balm, what you fear is often just a reflection of what you desire. Let us gather our courage together. With newfound resolve shimmering in their hearts, Sarah and her friends formed a circle, clasping hands in silent unity. They could feel the energy from the crystal merging with each of them, enveloping them in illumination. For a moment, time stood still. They sensed the rhythm of the universe pulsing around them, wrapping them in divine grace. Let us breathe together, Elara instructed, and they inhaled deeply, inviting peace into their spirits. As they exhaled, Sarah felt the burdens they carried unfurling like withered leaves in autumn, drifting away into the ether. Fear began to dissolve, replaced by clarity and strength. What if we took a leap of faith? Sarah said, her voice ringing clear as a bell. What if we embraced our struggles as stepping stones to something greater? Her words hung in the air, igniting a flicker of understanding in each soul present. They nodded, the weight of their fears lightening with each heartbeat as they envisioned a future untouched by doubt. "Let us step through the door," Hannah said softly, her eyes brightening. "Let us walk together into our healing." With that declaration, they turned to the threshold that beckoned them, an old wooden door, slightly ajar. It felt like a passage to possibilities, a portal illuminated by their collective courage. As they moved forward, the air shimmered with sacred energy, mirroring the sunlight breaking through the clouds. Each step into the light felt empowering, as if the universe was cheering them on. Beyond the door, they found themselves in a lush meadow, bathed in the warmth of a golden sun. It was a realm alive with color, vibrant flowers swaying gently in the breeze. Birds sang melodies that resonated through their hearts like sacred whispers of love. The world around them brimmed with promise, each blade of grass a reminder of renewal. "This is the manifestation of our faith," Ilara exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Here, you can chase away the darkness that lingers in your hearts." Sarah felt tears of joy swell in her eyes. "We are no longer bound by our fears." With hands raised to the heavens, they began to sing a melody that intertwined with the very fabric of creation. Their voices blended into a chorus of praise, echoing across the meadow like a prayer ascended. It was a refrain of gratitude, a celebration of healing, and a declaration of hope. As they sang, the crystal in Sarah's hand pulsed with radiant energy, illuminating their hearts and igniting flames of purpose. The air shimmered with divine assurance. They understood that they were never alone in their struggles. Every doubt, every fear echoed their shared humanity, drawing them closer together. "Now, let us extend our hands to the world we leave behind," Ilara guided them, her voice resonant and encouraging. "With each gesture, we release our burdens and invite healing. Show love to those who remain trapped in the shadows." They reached out, allowing their energy to flow, releasing healing light toward their families, friends, and the villagers of Stonemere. The connection deepened, interweaving threads of faith into each heart they touched. As the singing subsided, a soft silence enveloped the meadow. Each member of the group felt the divine presence swell around them, a love profoundly transformative. In this moment, the sweeping weight of their past fears faded, replaced by an indescribable sense of belonging, acceptance, and unity. "We did it!" James exclaimed, his voice ringing with excitement. "We stepped into our light." A sense of exhilaration washed over them, a joy so profound it felt like the very essence of heaven poured down around them. "Every journey has its challenges," Ilara reminded them, her tone filled with affirmation. "But with faith, not only can we overcome, we can transform ourselves. And now, we have the responsibility to be lights for others seeking their own healing." Thus, each friend regarded the others with gratitude. They were no longer just a group, they had become a movement, a beacon of hope in the quiet village of Stonemere. As they stood in awe, embracing the sacred connection forged through surrender, their faith expanded. Their hearts resonated with a love that transcended fear, binding them infinitely to the divine. With the sun setting in a glorious tapestry of colors above them, they turned back toward the path leading home, each step echoing their newfound purpose. They would carry this sacred moment into their lives, each crafted thread connecting them not only to one another but to the countless others awaiting healing. As they approached the familiar cobbled streets of Stonemere, laughter rang out, and the warmth of community welcomed them home. With eyes shining and hearts alight, they knew this was not just the end of a chapter, but the beginning of a divine journey shared. And in that intimate moment, they promised to nurture the gift of love among them, for this was God's manifestation, a sacred calling to love, heal, and transform. They were ready to step forward, spreading the light as they ventured into each new day. Now, dear friends, I urge you to embrace this powerful moment just as Sarah and her friends did. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will ignite hope within your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, lighting the path for others to find their faith. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Your words inspire a community of believers courageous enough to face their own journeys. And most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope and love. Don't wait even one more second to bless those around you. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Each click, each share, ignites a flame that can touch lives across the globe.